All right, baby, it's showtime. Hello and welcome everyone to 27 Outs. As always, I, of course, am Ivan alongside my partner right here, Stefan. It's been a week, guys. Stefan and I just took a brief moment to ourselves. And, sometimes a week could sometimes, especially when you do content, how we do content sometimes, right? We have weeks where, we'll put videos out 2 times, 3 times. And shout out to all of you who have shown a tremendous amount of love, I would say, not only when it comes to subscribing to the channel, but also our first 3 videos to start 2025 have done well for us. So, as always, shout out to you guys. We're here tonight for a few things. Before I pass it to you, Stefan, I do want to give a couple of shout outs to Shrek, as well as Norm Lee, who were already here in the comment section, just chopping it up about baseball, which is why we're always here, right?
For sure.
But yeah, things have been a little slow considering no big names really being moved or signed. However, there's been a lot that has happened, so we're gonna get into all of that and more. So make sure you guys leave your thoughts in the comment section. Stefan, how are you feeling? Where would you like to start? As I mentioned, we do have a few things to get into.
I'm feeling good, man. Other than the fact that I'm on about 4.5 hours of sleep. If the world's been under a rock, I've been out here doing the journalistic thing. But we good, man. Let's start with this Carlos Estévez to the Royals, because let me tell you something right now. If you ain't paying attention, the Royals put together one of the best bullpens in baseball, and this is with Carlos Estévez just being added to the mix. He signed a 2-year, $22 million deal. And essentially what's going to happen is if he pitches well and he throws enough innings, the deal goes up to 3 years, $33 million. So there's an escalation where if he gets to a certain number of innings, I believe, or so he's gonna make he did well for himself. Like, he made $11 million. And listen, $11 million is on the low side for relievers nowadays. You got guys making anywhere between 13 to 15. So he came in at 11, but under the circumstances with spring training just around the corner and these teams seemingly running out of money, and I use that term loosely, we can get to that in a minute. Credit the Royals for spending money, for pushing the envelope, for saying to their fan base, yo, you guys deserve a winner, and we're going to do our best to put one on the field. And listen, that is the power of having a guy like Bobby Witt, signed and under contract for the next 10 years. That is what you do when you have a guy like that. And listen, now you're talking about Lucas Erceg. You're talking about bringing in Estevez. Their bullpen was already loaded with guys from last season that we saw firsthand when the Yankees were playing them in the playoffs. So Kansas City got some boys now. And, when you look at the Royals, this is the one thing I will tell you. When you got the Royals outspending teams like the Guardians, the Twins, teams you're supposed to be in direct competition with, the Padres, okay? When you got them outspending some of these dudes that's supposed to be those top-tier teams, if you're a Royal fan, you got to poke your chest out and feel like, you know what? We're doing it. We're doing it. And this may not seem like a lot, but their opening day payroll is $132 million. This is the highest their payroll has been since 2017.
Sheesh.
On opening day.
Right.
So when people say, oh, but, it doesn't seem like it's a big deal, it is a big deal. And we need to listen. I'm tired of hearing, oh, we're broke, we can't compete. We're broke, we can't compete. We're broke. Listen, they're showing you that's a crock of bullshit. You traded for Jonathan India, by the way, who's going to be phenomenal for the Royals.
Right. I like that move.
You traded for Bradley Singler, you traded Bradley Singler to the Reds for him, but you brought back Michael Walker, who was great for them last year on a 3-year, $51 million deal. So, like, the Royals are doing it, man. And the one thing, Brady, as Shrek points out, Brady Singler. But I'm so happy for them, man. I'm happy for the Royals. I'm happy for teams that clearly don't let the financial constraints or lack thereof or whatever's going on with them financially stop them from putting a team on the field. That's a beautiful thing to see. And if you're a Royal fan, you're entitled today to talk a little trash.
Right, of course. As you said, Stefan, I agree with everything that you said, but briefly, in addition to that, I've said it before on a previous show, so I'm not going to get too in depth by stating this again. But I think now is the perfect time to say it because the Kansas City Royals fall underneath the category of teams that aren't in contention frequently. However, when the window is open, you got to take advantage. Hence why they went to the World Series in 2014 when they lost to the Giants, went back the very next season in 2015 when they defeated the Mets. And then, honestly, if you look back at that time up until now, the Royals haven't really been relevant up until, I would say, last season. It's been a while.
Think
so
about
the fact that they've been as aggressive as they have this offseason, I like it a lot because another team who I thought was going to be in the same shoes that the Royals are in right now as we speak are the Orioles, and they've done the opposite.
That's a good point. That's a great point by you. Just think about this. They lost 106 games in 2023. So they went from being the worst team in baseball by the numbers to being in the playoffs the very next year. That's how you make a change, man. That's how you tell your fan base, yo, we in it to win it, bro. We may not be able to, meet with the Sotos and meet with the, the high-end dudes. But if there's a dude out there we want and we feel like he's within our price range, we're going to snag him. And this Estévez just makes that. This Estévez acquisition, I'm looking at that Royals bullpen right now. The Royals are going to win the AL Central by at least 10 games next year. This division is over.
Really?
It's over.
Wait, so I had something in mind, but I'm glad you actually went there already because now we could just go head first. So I've got the Royals winning the Central in 2025 as well.
Yes.
But when you say 10 games, like what about the Twins? What about the Tigers? Now, again, I still think the Royals win the division at the end of the day. But by 10 games, I think it'll be a little closer.
You know why I tell you 10 games? Look at the pitching they're throwing out there. The Guardian lineup, the Twins, they're one move away from being poor.
You've shared some things with me as well regarding like what the future could look like for them over the next couple years.
So it's like, all right, fine, I'll play the game with you if that's how you choose to go about it. But the truth of the matter is, this is the Royals division to win. Like it's I'm sorry, but if you don't think the Royals win this division quite handily, I don't know what to tell you because
there's only one thing, and I'm not trying to like speak this into existence. So if you're a Royals fan, please don't take this, in that way. But I do want to say the only thing that could ruin or at least get in the way of the Royals winning the division in 2025 is Bobby Witt going down. Like this, I don't think anything else. Yeah, obviously there's a list of things. If you are dealing with injuries to a couple of key players, then of course. But if there was one thing, and I would never want that to happen because I want to see Bobby Witt for a full 162.
You and me both,
as we all should.
I'm gonna tell you something right now. I think Bobby Witt is the American League MVP.
I'm not mad at that. I easily see another top 3, top 5
because
finish. That's for sure.
I don't think Judge is gonna have the same protection that he had with Soto. There is no Soto walking in that lineup next year.
Great.
Belly's a nice player. Cody Bellinger's a nice player. He's not Juan Soto. He is not. So let's not get shit twisted. This ain't Paul Goldschmidt from 10 years ago. No. I'm telling you right now, I got the Kansas City Royals. I'm going to make a bold prediction. They're going to be in the championship series next season.
Wow.
Next season.
I would love to see it, man. Honestly,
you know why?
I would love to see
because I think baseball should reward the aggressiveness. Reward them for spending money in a market where spending money is not the most advantageous to you know what I'm saying? If you got to spend money, this is how you go about doing it. And to be quite honest, like I love the idea that we're finally at a place where the Royals are saying to their fans and to baseball, in a time when we're all crying about how expensive the Dodgers are spending money, the Dodgers are ruining baseball. No, we can compete. We can spend money if we choose to. It's just a matter of who's willing to do what, right? So credit everybody in Kansas City. If you're a Royal fan, Shrek, you better stop. Shrek is gonna come after you, Ivan. You talking crazy in the chat about Bobby Witt going down. Listen, I don't want no smoke with the Shrekster, dog. He's Kansas City through and through.
I wanna make it very clear, right? Because I know early 2024, Stefan, you were already in on the Royals. You were telling me be on the lookout for them.
Yep.
And I wasn't really big on them at the time. I can actually openly admit that here tonight, right? But at the same time, I don't think I'm going to make that same mistake now in 2025. So I want to make it clear from the jump that I am not a big believer, but I'm certainly a believer in the Royals.
And here's what I'm going to tell you, right? They made the playoffs last year with a banged up Vinny Pasquantino down the stretch. He was not healthy. Bobby Witt was sensational, but you can tell like he was, the youth and playing a full season and extended playoffs, it got to him a little bit. He started to wear down. You know what I mean?
So yeah, it was tough seeing him in that division series against the Yankees.
I kind of want to see what it looks like when he's at the apex of his powers, and the dude is just coming to a place where I'm gonna be quite honest. I don't think there's 5 ball players in baseball that are better than him right now.
That's a good point. I don't think so. Bobby Witt Jr. is by far a top 5 baseball player right now.
I think, and I'm not even talking about in the American League. I'm talking about in the entire game.
Yeah, in the sport itself.
I'm talking about like we want to sit here and have conversations about they were doing this article in the Athletic about comps to Luka Doncic and who would be the equivalent to the greatness of a Luka Doncic, and you can make the argument that Bobby Witt, Aaron Judge, you know what I mean? Like, those are the 2 guys that you say, yo, that could be Luka Doncic's comp. You know what I mean? Like,
and also, too, I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but it'll be very interesting to see where the Royals are at midway through the season.
Yes.
To see if they wouldn't be afraid to plug in another player or 2 by the deadline in order for them to really get them in position to, like you said, go on a deep playoff run and possibly make it to the championship series.
So here's a little nugget for you, right? Ken Rosenthal wrote in the Athletic, I think it was yesterday, that the Royals thought they had Anthony Santander. Before they signed Estévez, they thought they had Santander signed up.
Right. I have a feeling. I think was it me that I believe I said, I don't know what month it was to be exact. It could have been November, December, something like that. But I think I made like a wild guess a couple months back where I said Anthony Santander to the Royals. I can't believe it got that close,
and it almost happened. Like it almost happened.
That would have been huge, man.
To the point where like
Bobby Witt, Salvi, and Anthony Santander.
I'm gonna tell you this right now. I'm gonna make the boldest. I'm gonna continue on this bold proclamation phase because that's just where I'm at right now. Don't be surprised if the Royals acquire another bat. Like middle of the order, big time bat.
I want to see it.
If I'm the Royals, you know what I do? Yo, dog, you ain't got no market right now. How about Pete Alonso come to Kansas City and be our DH? Come be our DH.
That would be huge, man.
I'm not saying they do it, but I'm saying the idea of Pete Alonso in the middle of that lineup with Salvi, Bobby Witt, and now you got protection.
Right.
You got some serious protection now. And now you ain't got to be the man. You just got to come to the yard every day and hit. You know what I mean? Do they do that? Probably not. Like, I'm going to tell you this. They were in discussions. They were in talks to acquire another outfielder. I forgot. Oh, they kicked the tires on Kyle Tucker for like a half a second. They were like, yo,
wow, really? They were in on that?
If we could do this, like what it would look like. I don't know if we could extend him, but if we got the they touch base with the Astros.
Listen, man, honestly, if that would have been something that would have turned into a reality, could you imagine a full season of Kyle Tucker and Bobby Witt?
Oh yeah.
Listen, I know what Aaron Judge and Juan Soto did last season was spectacular, but give me a full season of Bobby Witt and possibly Kyle Tucker. That would have been right there.
Give me a full season of Bobby Witt, Salvador Perez, Pete Alonso in the middle of your lineup, 3, 4,
Yeah.
5, and I'm taking that shit all the way to the bank, because what that shows me is at least you're willing to think outside the box. We
Right.
have general managers and front offices that are afraid to think outside the box. Does it always work? No. But the idea that you're trying, and yo dog, we're going to get into this a little bit later. You got the Yankees asking themselves, yo, can we compete with the Dodgers? Yo, can we compete? You know how crazy in the face you sound when
I never thought I would have seen the day come, honestly.
you know how crazy in the face you sound when you got the Royals out here spending money and not caring, not giving a care in the world. Now they have financial constraints. We all, obviously everybody does.
The A's, too. The A's have spent some money this offseason.
Think about it. The A's have just spent under $100 million this offseason. Think about that. The Las Vegas A's, or excuse me, the Athletics. Let me not get in trouble. The Athletics. Listen, look, whether it pans out or not, that's a conversation for another time. But the idea and the thing that I really do enjoy is the idea that Kansas City is listen, and you're taking advantage. The AL Central is weak. It's a weak division.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And I absolutely love the idea that you're telling the Tigers, yo, hold that.
Nice run you had in 2024, but not again.
You're telling the Twins, hold that. You're telling all these teams, the Guardians, yo, Trey Jose, your time's done. Hold that. Hold that.
I mean, they should.
And I'm going to tell you something right now. Alex Bregman is still out there. I'm sorry. I don't get contractual constraints, be damned. Tigers, go sign Alex Bregman and stop playing games. Go sign Alex Bregman, Tigers.
So I'm glad you mentioned that, Stefan, because I was doing some reading. And quickly, before I get into that, for those of you who are watching, shout out to all of you. Make sure you guys go ahead and follow us on Instagram at 27nows3c. And for those of you who are watching via YouTube Live right now, what's going on? Shout out to you guys as well. If you're new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button. But yeah, Alex Bregman and the Tigers. So I was doing some reading the other day. And just a week ago, the last time we went live, we did in fact say that both you and I, and still, even though you never know what could happen, but still, at least for me, I still could see a reunion between the Astros and Alex Bregman. However, it seems like the conversation has stopped between the two. And I don't know if this is true. Maybe you could talk about this, Stefan. But it looks like the Tigers have reignited the conversations that they've had with Alex Bregman once again.
So nobody stopped talking. Let me just clarify this for the record so we understand each other, right? I love when people say, "Oh, they've stopped talking." Why they stopped talking? Because you didn't hear about it. Let me teach you. Can we learn something together? This is an open space, right? It's sit down time. For as long as I've been doing this, and I'm all over this stuff. When you hear silence, that's a good thing. Silence means that they're working because you're not posturing with the media. I'm trying to get this much money. I'm trying to get that much money. I'm trying to get this. You know how we know it's a problem, right? I'm going to take you guys back. A couple of years ago, we were sitting there. I was sitting there and I was thinking, yo, I think Carlos Correa is going to go. I don't think he's signing with the Mets. Because at the time, you kept hearing reports, oh, they're close. They're just overlooking his medicals. And you remember, I was in the group chat at the time, and I'm telling y'all, this ain't happening.
Yeah.
This ain't going down.
Because, about the medical part specifically, because you never really hear that when deals go down. Like that stuff is usually already something that is signed, sealed, delivered.
Yep.
I mean, obviously, it goes on behind the scenes, but it never becomes a story. To the point where now the media and the fan base are questioning, like, wait, what could be wrong with this player, right?
So what I'm going to tell you is, right, what that Carlos Correa thing told me was being loud is not good. Silence is golden. Luka Doncic just showed you silence is everything.
It was dead silent. Not even a peep. Not even a coin drop.
We didn't hear shit about Luka Doncic going to the Lakers. There was nobody even opened up their mouth. It was like you look back and you're like, yo, LeBron just dropped damn near 40 in the Garden. How did Luka end up on the Lake? What's going on here?
That's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? And in a time where
That's absurd, man.
Social media is at an all-time high, so there's gonna be people that want to leak info, get info leaked. Yo, I spoke to this source, and this source is this source. Everybody got sources. But you know when it's deal time, when everybody puts down the phone and starts saying, yo, forget about the sources. What we want to do? Let's make this a one-on-one thing between me and you, right? The Royals, there was no connections to Carlos Estévez and the Royals at all. All we heard was Carlos Estévez went to the Royals. There was no connection with the Royals at all.
By the way, how about those two big losses for the Phillies now going into 2025? No Jeff Hoffman, he went to the Blue Jays, and no Carlos Estévez, who they acquired because originally Carlos Estévez began the season with the Angels. The Phillies had acquired him. Now you don't have either guy in your bullpen. That's a problem.
And this is why when you were telling me, yo, I like the Phillies going into 2025, I like them. I'm looking at you.
Nah, not anymore. Hell no.
I'm looking at you and I'm like, who's closing games for them? You?
Call me crazy. I might even like the Mets more than I like the Phillies, to be honest.
Listen, I'm gonna be honest with you. After the moves they made, bringing in AJ Minter, the things that they've done, I like that, right? And so you're looking at Carlos Estévez, and you like, hey, ain't nobody talking about that. If you are here to make a statement, Detroit, do yourself a favor. You got to the playoffs last year. Go make Alex Bregman a Tiger for life. Houston's playing. They don't really want him, or they brought him back already. Toronto is like they playing footsies. It's like, we like them, but we don't really like them. We like them, but we don't really like them. We like them, but we don't really like them.
Listen, I want to give a little bit of credit to Toronto because while they didn't land the guys who they did want, they've made some decent moves. I respect it. Now that could quickly change midway through the season for obvious reasons, which I believe we should all know why by now. But listen, they may not be in contention for the American League East, but I could see them grabbing a wild card spot. Wait, hold on. What news broke? First of all, if you are making that face, it better mean something just happened. Ain't no way you making that face and nothing happened.
So this is basketball, but I'm going to keep it brief. De'Aaron Fox is going to the Spurs. Zach LaVine is going back to the Kings.
Holy cow, that's insane.
3-team deal, Sacramento, Chicago, and San Antonio.
Wow, that's huge. Okay.
So
that's big.
Wow.
Any basketball fans watching right now? I know this is a baseball show, but take a second to let us know what you think about that.
That right there is insane. Also, there's gonna be
future's bright.
There's I'm telling you, there's two more bigger deals coming down the pike that I'm not ready to divulge on yet, but I got two more that might rock the league. Getting back to this baseball thing. I'm gonna tell you something right now. We may not see it. It may not be loud, but you know the one team I'm watching? You know the one team I'm really watching? And it's not because TD's in here, and I'm not trying to hype you up, TD. I'm really watching. I just got this tug about Alex Bregman ending up in Boston.
Yeah,
I don't know why. I just it to me it's just the perfect fit, man. Alex Cora is your manager. He was with you all those years in Houston. They're looking for a middle of the order bat. All right, the kids will be ready. Roman Anthony, the kid Campbell, like the kids are coming soon. Like Boston's, they're here now, right? So I'm gonna tell you, I don't know. I just got this. And I haven't heard it anywhere, right? Like I haven't heard this anywhere. This is not me reporting on anything. This is me just going by the gut. If there isn't a deal out there yet to be had, and I'm sorry, I don't mean to shit on this person, but why do we even listen to Bob Nightingale anymore? Bob Nightingale is terrible at his job. He's terrible at his job. And I don't mean to call out another reporter, but goddamn it, like, you're bad at your job. You're bad. Like, there's no hiding it. You're just terrible. Right. You're the same guy that told me Cody Bellinger was playing first base. You're bad at your job, bro. Like, come on. Enough. He's reporting that there's 2 teams out there with 6 years for Alex Bregman. Bob Nightingale, I got news for you, brother. If there's
6 years at what?
Bruh, if there is anybody offering him a 6-year deal other than the Astros, he would have taken the deal and ran to the bank already. You talking about 6 years of guaranteed money? If there was another 6-year deal out there, Ivan, I promise you, like I've never promised you anything in my life, he would have taken this deal.
Right. And the same, I'm sure, probably applies to Pete Alonso too, right? If they had what people are thinking they had out there, they would have signed by now.
If the money and the teams are out there, they would have signed deals, right? Like, I'm sorry, but 6 years from Toronto is different from 6 years in Boston. It's just different.
Right.
Because Vladdy's leaving next time.
Right. And Toronto is ready to give up their future, whereas the Red Sox are just now gearing for what's next.
Right. And I'm going to tell you this right now, and I really don't want to hear this. I don't want to hear this. Oh, the Blue Jays are close to Vladdy on an extension. I'm going to say it slow, kid, so we understand each other. I'm going to speak real slow and monotone. He's
a Canadian, but he's gone.
He is not signing an extension with free agency just a year away. Tell me in what world that makes sense. Where if you hit the open market right now, you got a deal for $500 million plus dollars for at least 10 to 12 years waiting on you.
And that's a start.
What are we talking about?
Yeah.
What are we talking about? There is no way that he signs an extension where that's even applicable. Because if I'm his agent, I'm looking at him like, bro, come on, bro. You're not signing that. I'm not even letting him sign that. Right. You know when somebody like jumps in front of a bullet or jumps in front of you see when a guy that's protecting the old lady, when the old lady's crossing the street, how they'll jump in front of the car and stop the car from hitting you. Nah, dog, I got to stop you from signing this contract.
Yeah. And listen, man, I'm sure his father's in his ear too, right? His father's like, listen, man,
bro,
I wasn't touching the kind of money that you're going to be able to touch, but just say no to everything, at least for now.
I promise you, brother. He's not taking it. He's not signing an extension with the Blue Jays. He's not. Because here's the reality of it. He wants to outdo Juan Soto. You don't think he said Juan Soto just got how much bread? Huh? Wait, what? I'm trying to make at least $48 million a year.
Right.
Get close to 50 in this motherfucker. You said who?
And on top of that, possibly compete, right? Because I mean, when's the last time competing and the Blue Jays have the same sentence?
Toronto is not competing. Let's just get something straightened out the way right now. I applaud the effort.
Damn, he's raining on that parade early, bro. I at least said a few minutes ago that I have them making some noise for a wild card spot. Now, the division, you could forget that. That's out the window.
Who, Toronto?
Yeah, that's a two-team race between the Yankees and the Orioles.
Listen, the American League is a one-team race between the Yankees and everybody else.
All right.
Now, the Red Sox can change my mind because if you bring up them kids and you bring in Bregman and you do what you got to do to be able to establish that you – because I'm not taking Toronto seriously. Baltimore, you played yourself.
They did.
You played yourself.
They did, yeah.
So what I'm saying to you is, yo, dog, you had a chance. You had Corbin Burns sitting in the catbird seat, and you said, nah, we good.
They lost both Corbin Burns and that's two huge blows, by the way. Like, think of those two players, Corbin Burns and Anthony Santander, who were both members of the Baltimore Orioles, will no longer play for them in 2025.
You didn't even offer.
That's a problem.
Yo, dog. Hear me out. They didn't offer either player a contract. Hold on. I'll say it again.
All that talk about new ownership and this and that.
They didn't offer them a contract. And I'm supposed to believe that I'm supposed to take you seriously to contend to win the American League East? You know who got a better shot to win the American League East? You know who I'm going to take over Boston and Baltimore? The Rays. The Rays are going to be there. Mark my words, the Rays are over winning 90 games this year.
Really?
Yes.
That would be huge for them. I don't want to get into this, but the fact that the Rays put themselves literally just a couple of years ago in position with Wander Franco being that guy at the front of everything, right? Mm-hmm. We found out what happened to him. He's never going to touch a baseball again, at least not at the professional level.
Right.
And then for them to be able to turn it around and possibly
more like the correctional level, but
prison baseball.
The prison league out here, you ain't doing it.
Hey, listen, with the time that he might serve, he might be able to put in 10, 15 years in that.
Because you know what? I had one executive text me last year after the deadline. You remember this because I called you. I was like, yo, just got this weird text from somebody in the American League East. And they weren't with the Rays. They were with somebody else, and the text said, yo, Tampa's going to be a thorn in everybody's ass next year. Tampa had the best trade deadline of anybody at the deadline. They were active. They got a bunch of young upstart pieces, and I don't know if you saw this, but the home run that hit Camargo just hit in the Caribbean series.
Yes, I was watching it, yeah.
What yo, dog, you going to pimp a tying home run, took his time around the bases, talked his shit, and was like, come see us, dog.
Yeah. By the way, I know those things do go on for a while during the winter. It's over now. Now there's like some other series called like the Caribbean series. Yeah.
The Caribbean series, yeah.
By the way, a lot of people were actually complaining about the fact that Japan was added to that because Japan is nowhere near the Caribbean.
Listen, Japan.
But let's be honest. Let's not act like Japan doesn't belong in everything that has to do with baseball at this point. Right. They play a very big role nowadays. But I saw the final game between, I believe it was Licey versus the Leones or the Leones, something like that.
Yeah.
Right. And I enjoyed it. A couple of my boys, shout out to them. They told me that, it could be found on YouTube and all that. And I enjoyed myself. And I did see the home run that you were talking about.
Yo, and he not only did he knew he got it. As soon as he hit that shit, he was like, I'm going to take my time around these bases.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk my shit to the first base coach, the third base coach, the second baseman, the shortstop. we gonna make a thing out this thing, boy.
Yeah.
And I say, yo, that's good for the game, man. That's good when you're able to bring that energy, bring that life, bring that swagger, bring the ability to let people know, yo, it's still a young man's game at the end of the day. Like, don't let the major leagues fool you into thinking that this is not all about charisma, all about flair, all about bringing the energy, this tenacity.
Having fun, most importantly. Gotta have fun.
That's the thing, and that's why they still play for the love of the game. You know what I'm saying? Like, they play for the love of the game. And what that's going to do is that's going to get Camargo ready to come up this season and be like, yo, I did it against the best of the best in Winter League, dog. In Major Leagues, I ain't scaring me. And I'm going to say this may not sound like much, but Ha-Seong Kim going to the Rays, ooh-wee. That's somebody I wanted. I've been on Ha-Seong Kim to the Yankees for like, since the offseason started. I've been begging the Yankees to do that. Right. They didn't do it. And I'm sitting there going, either you really don't see what we see, or there's something bigger at play here, which we're going to get to in a second. But shouts out to the Rays, shouts out to the Royals, Shouts out to the teams that are not allowing the size of their market to dictate how they move and
The
how
Reds as well. The Reds have also
the
made some
Reds too.
interesting
The
moves this
Reds too.
offseason. I
And
mean, listen, you got to be able to do what you can to impress a guy like Ellie De La Cruz while you have him, right?
by the way, they thought they had a deal for Luis Robert like a week ago.
Yeah.
The Reds.
Why are now that you mentioned Luis Robert, I feel like I've been hearing his names in trade talks for a couple years now.
Mm-hmm.
What are the White Sox waiting for? Give the guy up and listen, just move on with the next chapter in the organization's life, I should say, because
I got it. I don't disagree. But you'll be again, I don't mean to bring it back to this, but this is all fresh in our brains. Do you understand how bad Nico Harrison, the GM of the Mavericks, is getting killed in Dallas? He's getting crucified. They are protesting at the arena. Are you kidding me?
that's crazy.
Yo, they got Fire Harrison signs spray painted on the front of the entrance of the American Airlines Arena.
Wait, no, they vandalized the arena?
They were power washing it before the game.
You know, now that you say this, Stefan, this makes me wonder, when is the next home game for the Mavs? Because I want to hear the Bulls that they're gonna let loose that night.
They got booed today. They got booed today. Yeah, they got booed.
Wow.
Listen, they had an afternoon game. You know what? You know what's the game I got scheduled on my notebook, kids?
Wait, they face each other again?
February 25th. The Dallas Mavericks are in Los Angeles against, you guessed it, Luka Doncic, LeBron James, and the Los Angeles Lakers.
Wow. I'm watching that.
I'm going to tell you something right now. I understand your point about, move on, get what you can get. I get it.
Yeah, because think about it. And we talked about this when it comes to other players, right? Like Jose Ramirez and the Guardians. How long are you going to wait to, want to move on from a guy?
I got it.
And then he gets to an age where you may not even get what you thought he was actually worth.
I got it. But
how old is Luis Robert? Go ahead.
Well, how is he? 28?
Luis Robert he's going to be 28 years old, right?
Mm-hmm. Like, you put Luis Robert in the middle of that lineup with Ellie De La Cruz and what they got going on in Cincinnati. You talking about something now.
Yeah.
Now you talking about something, right? Like now we and the thing is, if you're the GM, right? Like you've already done the hard part. You traded Garrett Crochet. Garrett Crochet was the hard part. Like now you have to go and finish this off. I would not be surprised if Luis Robert is traded during spring training at some point.
Right.
Either during spring training or at the deadline during the season. Because at the end of the day, what this shows me, bro, I'm gonna be honest, is you can't be half pregnant. It's either you're gonna deliver the baby or you're gonna keep it in there. Like you can't say, oh, Garrett Crochet is off our hands, and then you're gonna turn around the next day and say we're gonna binge the market for an often injured Luis Robert. Now, when Luis Robert's healthy, in the one season he was healthy, he put up 38 home runs and had an 860 something OPS.
I remember, right?
I get why people are tantalized with his gifts, but if you can't get him on the field, what good is it?
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? So speaking of what good it is, let's get to these comments, man. There's a shit ton, Ivan. I'm gonna let you pick out.
Yeah. So before we get into the comments, as always, follow us on Instagram at 27outs3C. And for those of you who are watching right now via YouTube, of course, shout out to all of you guys. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. All right, so let's start here from the top, right? Because as I mentioned, I did shout out Shrek and Norm at the top of tonight's show because they were indeed already leaving comments before we even went live, right?
Yeah.
So Norm says the Lakers finally bumped the Dodgers off the sports headlines, and it wasn't really the Lakers doing it. It was, yeah. So Stefan, I know you mentioned this a couple of times when it comes to the Lakers and the Mavs. Apparently, people have said that the Mavs reached out to the Lakers and said Luka Doncic is available.
So, all right, let me break this down. They only called one team, Dallas.
And it was the Lakers?
That's it.
Wow, that's crazy.
So Dallas was at Staples Center on January 7th. So the Lakers are like, yo. Dallas was like, yo, you be interested in Luka if we put him on the table? What does it look like? So Rob Pelinka and Nico Harrison went out for coffee.
Well, who would say otherwise? Like, honestly, like I
mean,
know they only contacted one team, as you just mentioned. Well, who's saying no to that? The
So,
dude is what, 25 years old, as you told me?
got you. Yep. Gonna be
Like,
26 at the
listen,
end of this month.
I'm picking up that phone 10 out of 10 times. Like you said, who, what, when, where, and for how
Why?
much?
For how
No,
much?
forget the why. How much?
So, but here's my thing, right? Like, you know, I'm very big on like trying to get as much value as you can. Yo, dog, you know they only got one first round pick for him?
Wow.
One first round pick for a guy that if you canvass the league, if Rudy Gobert got 5, if Kevin Durant got 4, Luka Doncic walking out that bitch with at least 8.
Yeah.
Maybe 7, 8. And you give up what they gave up. You ain't give up nothing. AD, I love AD, but AD is 32 years old with a injury history as long as in a arrest rap sheet. The dude got more injuries than me, and I'm disabled.
Well, the Anthony Davis move, I kind of feels like it's when you get rid of Luka, obviously, you know, it's a bad look for sure.
Right.
But I think Anthony Davis fits their championship window at the moment. But at the same time, a lot of people could also say, and you told me this when we were off the air, Stefan, Luka is one of the main reasons why you even got there in the first place. So how do you let that go?
Can I be the guy that just shits on everybody talking about this championship window? You know this championship window is less than a year, right? Kyrie's 32, AD's 32. You ain't really like you're screwed.
Right.
And the reality of it
is
is
Clay. Clay's like what? 30, 34, gonna be 35 in a few days.
Wow. So it's like, yo, you know what it is? They just got tired of Luka's antics. Yo, I'm better than half the league at 200 whatever pounds. I'm fat and out of shape, and I don't give a fuck because I'm better than y'all. I don't care because y'all can't stop me even if I was out of shape. What I will tell you is, you know the gif of Samuel Jackson when he says, "Oh, y'all done fucked up," right? I wonder now if Luka being with LeBron, being in Los Angeles, batteries recharged, feeling like, yo, now this is my franchise. I can see a Giannis coming down the pike. I can see a Devin Booker coming down the pike. I can see all these different scenarios happening for me where it's just like, yo, I could literally do whatever I want to do. And this is the same thing when it comes to baseball. Like, this is why we would tantalize at the idea of trading a younger Mike Trout. Can you imagine the package that the Angels would have gotten if they traded Mike Trout after his second or third MVP?
Yeah.
People would have given up their children. People would have given up body parts. Yo, take half of my liver. Yo, take the other half of my kidney. Yo, take half an arm. Yo, take my hand. Yo, take the other hand. What are we doing, bro? Like, at the end of the day, like, you have to strike while the iron is hot, and you don't want to be the Angels. Because they did it twice. They did it with Trout and with Ohtani.
Yeah.
You looking sick in the face.
You just reminded me.
I got a bold proclamation. If the Phillies don't make the World Series this year, it's time to trade Bryce Harper.
Holy. Did you hear that? That's bold. I don't even know if bold is the word, but that's
like
something.
Am I crazy for thinking that though, bro? Like,
no, not at all.
How is he gonna be 32? How is Bryce gonna be 32?
Bryce has to be 30 by now. Yeah,
he's gonna be like
Bryce
30.
is gonna be 33 years old this year.
He's gonna be 33. If you don't even, if by deadline time, we like 9 games back. Flip.
We're talking about, just to make sure, we're talking about Bryce Harper, right?
Yes.
I'm sorry, bro. I got to drop one of these, right? What you just said is no joke. And obviously, listen, even if it doesn't happen in 2025, I do believe that, it is something that is probably going to happen at some point, right? It wouldn't surprise me if Bryce Harper is not wearing a Philly jersey for the remainder of his career.
The sooner rather than later, though, if you think about it, bro, like, what are we doing sitting here waiting for the dude to be virtually dead? Like, have the Angels showed us nothing? Have the Phillies of the early 2000s showed us nothing? Have the Yankees of yesteryear with the Jeters and the Texas and the CCs and the you don't get a start over button. You get a blow up button. Use it.
Yeah, that's right. That is right.
You don't get a start. Listen, look at the Giants. Forget about our New York bite. Look at the San Francisco Giants after they won those championships. You hung on for Panda too long. You hung on to Bumgarner too long. You hung on to Posey too long. Matt Cain, you hung on. These teams, they hang on too long, and then they wonder why it doesn't work.
See, but in that case, in the case of the Giants, I still give them hell of a lot of credit because
they won
got
3 in 5 years.
Yeah.
I got you. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Whereas Philly, you committed all these years and all this money to Bryce Harper, where you got just one World Series appearance. That's it, right?
And it's only going to get harder because, like you said, Estévez ain't walking through that bullpen. Hoffman's in Toronto.
Yeah.
I think Ranger Suarez is about to be gone. He's gone at the end of this year.
Speaking of Philly, I know we were just talking about comments and all that, but Norm did leave something interesting here that I want to show. He says the Phillies arguably have a rotation that can match up with the Dodgers. Now, anything can happen in the playoffs, but I will take Philly over the Mets for this season. Okay. See, now here's the difference, though. Going to your original point, Norm, between the Phillies and the Dodgers. Mm-hmm. That Dodger bullpen is no joke now.
It's no joke. Mm-hmm.
That starting rotation, it's not a joke anymore.
Yo, literally, you can pitch Kirby Yates in the 7th inning. That's how deep their bullpen is. That's disgusting. That is. You talking about pitching somebody? You literally have the wherewithal to say, "Yo, we can literally throw these guys any place we want." Listen, Philly is gonna have a problem. Philly's gonna have a problem because Philly's still good. But Philly's also getting older.
Right.
Schwarber's getting older. Bryce is getting older. Castellanos is slowing down. Like, they got problems in Philadelphia. And the one thing that Dave Dombrowski is not going to do is he's going to hold on to the last possible second. He's like the GM that doesn't want to let go because he feels like if he lets go, it's like quitting. You may have to fire Dave Dombrowski to get this rebuild going the way you really need to go.
Yeah,
like firing.
I remember him doing that back during his days with the Tigers.
With the Tigers, yeah, he did it.
He held on to a few guys a little too long.
He did it in Boston too. He traded Boston. The farm system he gutted when he brought in David Price, Nathan Eovaldi. Like he went full on Stark nuts when he took over the ball. Now he got to a championship, so you can't really argue about how did it work, did it not work. But at the end of the day, if you're looking at Dave Dombrowski, that's not a very I don't know, man. That feels kind of funny, right? And look, if baseball has shown us anything and sports has shown us anything, it is this. You have to be adaptable. Hence why, if you see the beginning of this title, I did this on purpose. What the hell? And because Hal was on the Yankees Hot Stove show with Matt of Morakovitz, where I'm not even going to read you the quote because if I read you the quote, I might rip this computer off the desk and throw it.
You sum it up, bro. It's all right.
Basically, he said we can't, us owners can't compete with the Dodgers. Hal Steinbrenner, when did you become poor and we didn't realize it? When did you were you chilling with Madoff and we didn't know? Did you get Ponzi schemed? Did somebody raid the family trust? You know what I mean? Like, did 3 of your horses die? What's going on here, bro? Last I checked, the Yankees were worth $7.55 billion. And you're gonna tell me us owners? Are you kidding me? I'm gonna say something absolutely mental right now. You might want to get that Funflex bomb ready again. Mm-hmm. If you go in to this season with DJ LeMahieu or as Walter Cabrera as your third baseman, you made all these moves for no reason. You made all these moves for no reason. I'm sorry to say it. You bringing in Devin Williams, knowing that Devin Williams is a ground ball pitcher. He's going to get his strikeouts, but he puts the ball on the ground a lot. Max Fried is a ground ball pitcher, and you're going to tell me that Oswaldo Cabrera is good enough to be your third baseman? And if I hear one word, one singletary word about DJ LeMahieu, we going to have an intervention on this here show.
So, Stefan, what you're basically saying is the job is not finished when it comes to the Yankees, right?
And I'm telling you, if Tim Hill is not in your bullpen, we have to talk about what the hell you doing.
Yeah, the fact that they haven't brought him back yet, especially knowing that he's a guy who is not going to cost a lot, should have been done by now.
I'm telling you, Ivan, I promise you, brother, I promise you. I'm gonna give you a name.
You're gonna come live on opening day with a torch or something? Or are you gonna burn a Yankee jersey live?
I don't know about burning it, but Lord knows they're gonna be hard pressed to get my money this season.
Okay, I like that. Hit him where it hurts.
Because you can't tell me that you're gonna spend all this money and bring in the players you brought in to stop at third base because you're $8 million below the Cohen tax. Oh, but they don't want to evaluate it for the third year, and they don't want to. You just got to the goddamn World Series.
Yeah.
Do you know you're one Alex Bregman away from winning the American League again? Again. You're one Alex Bregman. You know what? TD is not the biggest known Arenado fan. I get it. Bring me Nolan Arenado to play third. You're one Nolan Arenado, Alex Bregman, or even Carlos Correa away from this conversation just being done. Deceased. Finished.
And it just automatically being Yankees and Dodgers in the World Series.
Right. The conversation ends now. By the way, you want to talk about a middle of the lineup that looks different? Can you imagine a guy like Alex Bregman sitting in the 5-hole in the Yankee lineup with Aaron Judge and Bellinger and Stanton? And come on now. But we're going to stop because we got a penny pinch because we don't want to violate the Cohen tax because we're poor now. His father must be rolling in his grave. His father wants to get up and smack the shit out of those kids. I swear to you.
Right.
I left it to you, and this is what you do with it? Because, bro, let me ask you a question. You're going to spend this level of money, and granted, it's not our money, so it's easy for us to say behind these here microphones. I understand fully, completely. But you're gonna go get Bellinger. You're going to go get whoever you're going to go get. And this is where we stop. We stop here. When you told Juan Soto, you told Aaron Judge, you told your players, you told everybody, yo, I got the money to do whatever we need to do. Oh, but it's only conditional. When is Yankee fan support conditional?
I agree, Stefan. This offseason was certainly one for the Yankees to go all in.
When is 55,000 people in the building in the playoffs conditional? When is my money conditional as a consumer? When did we become conditional? Right? So now you're gonna tell Yankee fans, oh no. We only spend on conditions. What? Since when?
And that's basically saying we only spend money on holidays. Yeah, for like the regular working people, that's basically what they're saying.
Since when? Since when did this become a thing? So let me ask you a question. Why did you do Fried? Why did you do Williams? Why did you do Goldie in the first place? Why did you do Bellinger in the first place?
To suddenly stop.
Why did you do that? All this is say, oh no, this is where the car stops. what? You were in the World Series less than 5 months ago. And I was one person that said, yo, you know what? Don't re-sign Soto. Let's spread this money around. Let's do what we got to do. Let's put a complete roster on the field.
Hold on. Let me actually make a point, Stefan, because I want you to continue. But this is
make
very
all the points you need because I'm on
especially for those of you who have been here long enough to remember this. But this is why I'm about to get into it yet again, because if you don't know, now's the time to know. Stefan actually said it. I think it was probably like midway through the season in 2024. I forgot what the topic was. I believe there's a video on the IG, if I'm not mistaken.
The Yankees were scuffling. They had lost like a 24 out of their last 35. They were terrible.
And these were your exact words. You said win, lose, or draw when it comes to the Yankees. So that means even if they did win the World Series, Juan Soto was out for you no matter what. I just want to put that out there because, you know, a lot of times guys kind of like say things out of nowhere. But here on 27 Outs, and this has happened to us, hence why I just mentioned that. We've talked about a lot of things before they even took place. And then when it finally happens, Stefan and I often look at each other like, well, this ain't a surprise. This is no surprise to us because we talked about this, you know, X amount of months ago, you know? So
I mean,
just to put that out there.
You know the guy that says, yo, we tried it. You know the homie, the OG that's on the block that's watching the young guy just make mistake after mistake. And he's like, yo, I tried to tell you.
Right.
You just ain't want to listen to me. Because I know sometimes when I speak, it sounds crazy, right? Sometimes when I speak, even this dude, when we first became friends and we, you know what I mean? Because me and him have been doing this show, iterations of this show for 10 years, right? Like, we've been doing this a long time. So some of the stuff I would say you used to be like, hold up, dude. You said what now? You know what I mean? To the point where like me and him used to argue. And then when I break it down, he'd be like, you know what? I needed a second to see the vision, right? It's not, listen, sometimes you don't see the vision. It's cool. But the idea that you're going to let Juan Soto walk because you want to put a more competitive team on the field, you want to put, you know, the Yankees in a better position after what you just went through last offseason or last season, rather, where your defense was a question mark all the way through. If you were going to go the low budget route, Ha-Seong Kim should have been your option. Jorge Polanco, I didn't like it, but I understood it.
For defense, again, defensive purposes, as you mentioned.
He's back in Seattle now. Good for them. They actually spent a little bit of money. You know what I mean? But it's like, my God.
A little bit of money still feels like nothing because they still need help offensively. I'm sorry. You know, we like to be as honest as possible on the show, and I just had to throw that out there.
So, like, when people are like, oh my God, what are we doing? What are we doing? Yo, dog. If I have to look down that third baseline and see anybody other than these three names I'm going to mention, we need to crucify the ownership and this front office group for as long as it's necessary. I will come on this show. This will be a weekly smear campaign. We're going to call it Fuck the Yankees. This is going to be the name of the campaign. And this is going to be the campaign until you decide whether you real or you just want to seem like you real. It's almost like the chick, right? You go out on a date. This chick, she's beautiful. She's like, she's fine. You like, oh shit, it's about to happen. It's going down. You know what I mean? You get her back to the crib and you realize, yo, shorty she playing games. She playing games. Like, I damn near got everything off. What's going on, yo? Like, can we finish this deal? Nah, I'm gonna sleep on it. Huh? Huh?
I get the analogy for sure. I understand.
know what I'm saying? Like, wait, what? And me and you as fans of baseball teams, I never understood the halfway approach. If you're gonna go. Especially when you just made the World Series. It's not like they got eliminated in the first round. You were in the World Series last year. Last I checked, the American League might have gotten worse.
Yeah, I don't think it has registered with the Yankees yet.
And if your argument to me, and everybody in here in the chat, please comment. If your argument to me is, well, the American League is average to below average, it really doesn't make a difference what happens. My argument to you is, oh, so you're going to win it by default, so you stop trying then. Because I'm telling you right now, this is what I believe. Ivan, please comment on this. I'm shutting up right now. I talk too much. If the theory is, well, we're already gonna win it, right? Like the American League is weak. Look at the Guardians, look at the Twins, look at everybody. It's weak. Houston's done. Why we got to keep trying? We're the best team in the American League, even if we roll out this subpar team that's going to win 94, 95 games because we got enough talent. When did having enough become good enough?
Just being able to get by. When did that become the thing that a team who is in contention, fresh off of a World Series appearance, I mean, I don't know. I just don't get it.
But you get where I'm trying to go. Like,
of course.
If
I've said this before, especially going back to some of the videos that we did back in December. And that's literally just a few weeks ago, right? I said I really like what they've done. You mentioned Devin Williams, Cody, Paul Goldschmidt. I like all of it. Still like it to this day. But I think if you were gonna make all of those moves, you gotta be able to go out there.
You got to finish
and also find somebody for third base.
You got to finish it.
Why plug in every other hole but leave one hole? Like, why does that make sense?
And if trading Marcus Stroman was that much of if Marcus Stroman's $18 million is that much of an anchor around your ass, sell the team. We crying over $18 billion? I mean, $18 million? Hold on, bro. Notice I'm not yelling. I'm not animated. I'm talking to you like I'll be talking to you regular. If we are crying about $18 million, I need you to do me a favor, sell the team. There's some rich Saudis that'll buy it right now.
Yeah. And speaking of Marcus Stroman, he has already made it clear without actually saying this, but actions speak louder than words, right? And what I mean by that is Stroman has already unfollowed the Yankees on social media. He cleared everything that was Yankee related and in terms of it being a post and having it in his bio. Like all of that stuff no longer exists. So mentally, he's already looking forward to what the Yankees are going to do in terms of moving on from him.
See, but this goes back to something, and we're gonna take it here, man. We're gonna because I'm having fun. If you in the chat still rocking with us, you know what I mean? We appreciate
Yeah, we're gonna get to comments in a few minutes, but we've got a good convo going right now.
We having fun in this moment. I wrote a story a couple years ago. I don't know if I ever sent it to you. But the title of the story was Cash Must Fire, How Much Fire Cashman to Preserve His Family's Legacy.
Yes, I remember, yeah.
And the reason why I wrote that article, I'm at where, you know what? When we're done here, I'm probably going to have you link it to this YouTube video so people can see it on.
I could probably put it in the bio. We could do that.
We could do that.
Yeah.
And because basically what I was addressing at the time was the idea that Cash doesn't want to be the big, bad, rich Yankees. Because when Cashman came in originally, it was the idea that, yo, damn, like they only respect me because I spent money. They never seen me really build a team, right? Like 2009, they did that for George because George was on his deathbed and he was sick. George Steinbrenner, the father, and so they went out and got CC, got Tex, got this, got that. But when's the last time you seen Brian Cashman really, really like Death Star Yankees, balls to the wall? Like, yo, we're gonna spend about $600 million this offseason. Fuck what you talking about, and we doing it, right? Like, here's some of the names Brian Cashman has passed up on. Bryce Harper.
Hmm.
Bryce Harper. Carlos Correa. Corey Seager.
Manny Machado.
Manny. Right? There's a few others I can't think off the top of my head, but we've been here before. We're like, hold up. You passed up on him. Why? Why'd you pass up on him? Because you don't want to be told, you don't want to be associated with the idea that you buy your championships. I don't see the Dodgers having a problem with it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see Steve Cohen having a problem with it. So why all of a sudden do you get all butthurt and sensitive? Oh, because Brian, you're buying your championships. You're not building anything.
The Dodgers and the Mets are more on some like, oh, you said I could buy one here?
Word? Nigga, here's the black card, dog. Do what you got to do.
Yeah.
Charge that shit to the game. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, yo, and I don't mean to be the Yankee fan that lives in the 90s, but forget about buying. When's the last time they developed anything? Like, if Jason Dominguez doesn't turn out to be what I hope he can be, that's a fireable offense for Brian Cashman right there.
If Jason Dominguez doesn't turn out, okay, gotcha. Right.
If he does not turn out to be the Jason that I expect, and I'm going to be honest, I'll take 25-25 on a good day, but I really want 30-30. If I don't get 30-30 out the gate, I'm going to be looking at him going, yo, you've been hyping this dude up since he was 16. The Martian, this. If this kid does not produce at a level where Juan Soto becomes somewhat of a figment of our own collective imaginations, I have to have a serious conversation whether you are even competent enough to do this job anymore. Because when people sit there and blame Aaron Boone, oh, this is Aaron Boone's fault. Aaron Boone ain't got nothing to do with what happens on the field. This is Brian Cashman, his analytics staff, Jared from IT going, yo, I'm going to punch up these numbers, and if this number spits out this is what you're going with. You know what the Dodgers said about the Yankees during the World Series? The Yankees were predictable.
Right.
We knew what they were going to do before they even did it. Because they didn't change.
Isn't it crazy how when the Yankees started to make all of those mistakes, the Dodgers were already anticipating that?
Yes.
And they saw it coming at some point.
Yes. And so the idea that you're going to just go into the season blase fair. We're going to go in with, DJ LeMahieu playing third and Oswaldo Cabrera splitting time in a platoon situation.
Come on now.
Yo, dog. You know what I want them to do? You know what I'll even take? And this has been broached by a few people. I don't mind them trading for a youngster by the name of Ke'Bryan Hayes from the Pittsburgh Pirates. If you trade for Ke'Bryan Hayes, I'll be happy because there's upside there. How old's Ke'Bryan? Ivan, about 24, 25? Right?
No, he's 28 actually.
Ke'Bryan Hayes is 28 years old?
Yeah. 28.
You know what? I'll take it. It's better than DJ LeMahieu and his arthritic self.
Right.
Come on, bro. Are you telling me we're rolling out a lineup and I'm sorry, if I'm honest, this is a lot of hope and pray it all works out. Cody is hope and pray type of dude. Stanton,
Goldie as well.
Yeah, you can mark it down. Stanton's gonna miss at least 60 games.
Right.
You can mark it down, and I don't think that's a falsehood to even have that idea. To the 7 people in here, what is up? Leave a comment. Join the convo.
Right, for sure. Make sure you follow us on Instagram at 27outs3C. And for those of you who are new here, I'm Ivan. That's Stefan. This is 27 Outs. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Yeah, I don't want to put all the pressure in the world on guys such as the ones they recently acquired in the offseason. But at the same time, there's a lot of pressure on those guys, man. Like Devin Williams, listen, I know he He's better than Clay Holmes, but you need a big season out of him.
And you haven't done
Golden,
it.
you got to be able to get whatever he has left in the tank. And again, I only say this if you are looking to be the team who wins the American League again.
Yep.
Which is what they're trying to do at the end of the day. Anything less with the current roster that they have is just, it's not okay. For me, it's not okay.
Anything less than them not getting back to the World Series, somebody needs to be fired.
No. How many times we've had that conversation already, you know? But I agree.
No, but I'm saying, like, at some point, it has to come to that.
Yeah, somebody needs to put like the big boy pants on and finally make that move or something.
So Norm makes a comment that Judge was developed by the Yankees.
Go ahead, let's I'll show it.
Outside of Aaron Judge, bro, let's go through this, dog. When's the last great Yankee you said that was developed by this franchise?
We've talked about it before. Robinson Cano.
You going back to 2005. That was the last position player you looked at as a Yankee and you said, oh, shit.
He's ours from day one?
Right.
Yeah.
Like, steroids aside, because that's later on in his career. Like, forget all that. I'm talking about peak prime Robinson Cano.
Yeah. That's a big gap, Norm.
That shit.
Not to say that, you know, I understand what you're saying. We're not overlooking Judge at all. I want to start by saying that.
No.
But the Yankees have put a lot of emphasis on their prospects when it really hasn't turned out to work in their favor.
And if we're being honest, Judge gave him a hometown discount to come back because the Padres offered him $400 million.
Yeah.
So he said, yo, if you could get it up to 360, I'll come back because I love y'all. And I love the city. But when's the last time the Yankees have developed somebody of significance to the point where you're like, oh my God, this guy. And this is why I'm hoping Jason breaks that cycle. Jason, Volpe, Wells. Like, I want to see these young kids take the next step. Just as a baseball fan, forget about Yankee fandom and all that. Like, the Dodgers have done it. The Dodgers develop their kids, and sometimes they take a step, sometimes they don't. But at least you've seen them in the big leagues playing some sort of a role with the team.
What I like about the Dodgers the most is that they do three things as an organization. They create their own talent, they buy talent, and they damn sure aren't afraid to trade for some talent. And they're good at doing all three of those damn things.
So hold on. I know I got to show this comment because Shrek, I got to show this comment. You out here wilding.
Gleyber is going to go on a revenge too. That would be crazy. Could you imagine something like that where it's the Tigers and the Yankees in a playoff series and Gleyber Torres just goes off? Nah, man.
What I can also see is the idea where Gleyber boots the last ground ball, and the Yankees went on a walk-off error because Gleyber's mind is in 20 other places other than where it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Norm says Michael King. I don't hate that, Norm. Like, okay, I'm with that. I don't hate that. Right. I don't hate that idea, but
he's not on the team though. Like he did come from them, but we're really talking about guys who, again, as I mentioned a couple of minutes ago, Yankees had them from day one, and they were there for X amount of years. Like, they put in some serious time while wearing pinstripes.
So, we've sat here and we've had conversations. Remember when Clint Frazier was just traded? And you're like, yo, this kid got hands like crazy.
I remember all of that stuff, dude. And Clint Frazier, and Greg I remember Bird. Where a lot of people were giving Brian Cashman, and I got to say Brian Cashman because you were just talking about him a couple of minutes ago, Stefan. But you remember all the praise that Cashman received when he landed Gleyber Torres? Like, come on.
His first 2 years, what happened in those last?
Yeah, you know how far back we have to go for that, Norm. Like
let's
not nitpick. Like, you make some good points. I'm not disagreeing with you, bro, at all. But we're nitpicking though.
Because I would say his last really impactful season was 2019.
It's been a while.
Where you were like, oh, this dude's that dude. And then what good is the offense when you're going to commit 50 errors at second base and look lost?
Right.
He looks lost. You know why we put up Robinson Cano jogging the first base every night? Because Robinson Cano would throw you out from the outfield with his back towards the first baseman.
Right.
Robinson Cano would hit 30 balls into the freaking auxiliary scoreboard, and you were like, Jesus Christ.
Hit above 300. Cano was that guy, man.
Cano, like you gotta understand, Robinson. We put up with Robinson Cano being like lazy sometimes because the physical gifts. You were like, good God, Jesus.
Now that I think about it, I don't even think he was lazy. That's just how he played baseball.
That's him. That's Robbie. He made it look easy.
Yeah,
right.
He was smooth. It looked like he wasn't trying, even though he really was.
That shit. Yo, remember the throws he used to make where he used to go? He used to be looking at the center fielder and throw it from like side on. You're like,
yes.
Wait, bro,
yes.
how you? First of all, how'd you get to that ball?
His throws would look sometimes as if they were coming from a slingshot, like,
and
they were that fast.
And they would hit the first baseman in the chest. Like it wasn't like he was missing the glove; he was gunning you out.
Right.
And just the idea that you are now all of a sudden not going to prioritize going full bore. Because here's the other thing. Judge is going to be 34 this season. Garrett Cole's going to be 35. Carlos Rodon's going to be how old? 31, 32, maybe even 33. He's getting up there in age.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he's
got guys. 33, yeah.
He's going to be 33. Judge, Cole, Rodon, Stanton, all these guys are aging, right? So you're basically telling them by not going all the way for it 100,000%, yo, we understand you're aging, but we're going to limit you because we don't really think that we should push past the limit. Which goes back to, I can't believe I'm going to regurgitate this, which goes back to, I wonder if you gave the Yankees true serum now, would they just let Aaron Judge walk in free agency and they start this rebuild all the way? I wonder if
that's coming soon.
No, but I wonder if, listen, because I understand the MVPs, I understand he sells jerseys, I understand all that.
I don't care for that stuff, man. Give me a championship.
But strictly from a baseball perspective, like I wonder if you sit there now and was like, yo, why don't we just let Garrett Cole walk this winter? Why didn't we just let Aaron walk a few years ago? Why didn't we just restart the clock with these kids? If your idea was gonna be, yo, Jason's gonna be your everyday left fielder, yo, Volpe's gonna be your everyday shortstop, yo, Peraza, we want to see what he got.
You do know what's gonna happen at some point this regular season, though, Stefan, right? Whether the Yankees end up being the team that goes to the World Series again, at least to represent the American League in this case, or not, you do know they're gonna hit a rough patch or two midway through the season. You know what's coming, bro. And for those of you who are watching right now, let us know in the comment section because you guys probably know as well. The fans are going to be on some like, oh, why the hell did you bring in Devin Williams? Is this why you traded for him? Why'd you bring in Goldie at his age? Why'd you bring in Cody after him not being able to be the guy who he once was with the Dodgers? We're going to hear all of that.
We are. And we are. But the sad part is that's just the fickle nature of New York fan. I think that's just a Northeast thing too, because I think they do it up there in Boston. Yo, why you not spending money? And then when you spend money, like TD was killing Yoshida, Masataka Yoshida. Oh, they gave Yoshida all this bread, but then you wonder why they're not paying Alex Bregman, because when they did pay somebody, he turned out to be absolute trash. Chris Sale, they gave Chris Sale 5 years, $145 million. Chris Sale turned out to be hot garbage as a Red Sox. Now you see why there's trepidation to pay pitchers long-term money when you look at what happened with Chris Sale. You remember the name Rusney Castillo?
Yes, I remember him. They gave him all that money to play most games in the minors.
$72 million is what they gave him. So now you wonder why these teams are gun shy? Because look what happens when we give you the money. You don't know how you look.
That's right.
Look at what happens, bro. We give you this money, you turn out. What do you turn out to be? Right? So, like, I understand it. Like there's a fine line you have to walk. But when you got guys that are descending from their prime, because I don't know how many MVP seasons we're gonna get from Aaron Judge. I don't know how many top 10 Cy Young finishes we're gonna get from Garrett Cole. I don't know how many seasons of Rodon looking decent we're gonna get. So while you're here now, you might as well go for it. You might as well bite the bullet and say, you know what? I know we old, but we gonna get a little older. Yo, Nolan, come, we'll trade for you. Come play third. Yo, Bregman, what you want, bro? We'll try to make it work. I know Yankee Stadium ain't the best ballpark for you to hit in, but I think we got enough protection in the lineup where you'll learn to appreciate it. Because the reality of it is, it's like, it's hard, man. It's hard. If you're a Yankee fan and then you hear him say that they're not in a position to spend the kind of money that's needed, bro, what are you saying to the fan base? What are you saying to the people that support this team? And what do you say when you got the owner across the river spending money and it don't seem to bother him?
And that's not to forget about how far they were willing to go when it came to landing Juan Soto in terms of years and money.
Right. So you're gonna tell me you have 14 years for 16 years for 760 in the tuck for Soto. You had that money in the tuck. You have $47 million stashed away. Yeah, that's for you if you come back. I wonder if he takes the Yankees' money. I wonder how limited their finances are.
I don't think they would have made as many moves as they have to this point. Mm-hmm. But I could have seen maybe that and maybe one or two more. But beyond that, no way.
Tell me how that's a healthy offseason. Tell me where that offseason makes sense.
Right.
Speaking of making sense, let's get to these comments.
Yeah, a lot of comments. So we're gonna show a lot of guys. You hear me? A lot of love to you guys from this point on. I don't even know where to start, man. I know I showed a few, but let's see. Norm had said earlier, everyone was waiting to see whether the Orioles' new owner would be a spender. One of the first comments he made was being supportive of a cap. That tells you everything. True. Which, speaking of caps, that is something that we want to get into before we wrap up tonight's show.
For sure.
Let's see. He also says if Boston and Texas bounce back, I'm not sure KC gets that deep into the playoffs because New York and Baltimore.
See, I
feel you.
But I don't see Boston. Not yet. They're about a year away.
I don't see both Boston and Texas bouncing back. They're
about a year away.
Right.
They're about a year away. Mm-hmm.
This is funny, but also a very, very hot take by you, Shrek. Hot take. Trout and Yelich have healthy seasons and win an MVP. Yeah, maybe 5 years ago, 5-6 years ago. Let's see. This actually is another deal that went down when Roger got traded. I thought I had to start watching the Reds, and I remembered he's had a couple of good years. Oh, Shrek asking you. Actually, I think this is a good question. Are you a Knicks fan or a Nets fan?
I'm a Knicks fan.
Okay.
All real New Yorkers are Knicks fans. We don't support that fraud. Just keep the Nets in Jersey. Get them out of here.
Right. Let's see what else we got here. Interesting. The one team who should go get Bregman is Toronto. I mean, why not? Right. Let's see. One of the sickest hitters I've ever seen was Vlad Sr. Oh yeah.
My God. What?
Hitting balls literally at the bottom of his cleats. Balls that would hit the dirt.
This guy was playing cricket when the rest of us were playing baseball.
Yeah.
He was playing cricket, bro.
Legit. Let me see. The Sox will re-sign Crochet, and if they find someone, take the glorified. Rafi will move to first. Yeah. Oh, at some point, Rafi eventually has to go to first. But I would hope that, Garrett Crochet is a guy who the Red Sox want to lock up now that they finally have him.
At some point, you would think so, yeah.
Andy says Vladdy wants a bidding war again between the Mets and the Yankees. But will it only be those two teams involved, though?
Nah.
Because I think Boston might want to say something about that, don't you think?
I think Boston wants to say something about it. I think Boston, I think the Mets, I think the Yankees, and don't sleep on the Dodgers.
Yeah.
Don't sleep.
The Yankees apparently will not take on salary until they move Stroman.
That's fucking stupid.
Right, we talked about that.
What? That's just a what?
This is funny here by Norm. You're funny, man. Like he says a lot of great things when it comes to baseball, but then he says something like this, where it's like the Mavs fans have a mock funeral outside the arena. That's funny. Yeah, that's what they're saying right now. TD, what's up? He says that's the World Series, Dodgers versus Rays.
Hell no, to the no, hell to the no,
yeah,
to the no, listen.
Hey, listen, I know the last time the Dodgers won prior to 2024, that was the matchup, right? It was the Dodgers and the Rays, and they actually won.
That was the COVID World Series, yeah.
What else we got here? Let's see. Andy showing love to Stefan during your Yankee rant, dropping bombs tonight. Shrek calls you the American League MVP for 2025. This one is funny too. This would be great actually. Stefan about to become a Mets fan, Shrek also says. Nah, Shrek, you're on the road tonight. Let's see.
Yeah!
I remember those days, actually. Those days were great when it came to wrestling. Norm says, okay, how many position players on the current Dodgers roster is homegrown? It's Smith and Pate. I'm a Dodgers fan. Yeah, you're right. But we've also seen them call up like great talent over the years, right? What's this guy's name? The lefty, the pitcher who's no longer with them. He was bound to be good for years to come.
Oh, the Mexican dude.
Urias.
Yeah.
He was one.
He just couldn't stop beating his baby moms, but he was on his way.
Yeah, there's some others too. I mean, off the top of my head, it's a little difficult to get into. But yeah, Norm, you make another great point, as I said. And Shrek here just talking about, I don't know what, 2025 predictions. What is this, bro? He says Trout for AL MVP, McCutchen for NL MVP. Sure. I mean, what is this?
What did he say?
Like, are we living in like 2014, 2013? What year are we in? But still funny. No, on a serious note, Shrek, one thing that I do want to ask you, with the moves that the Royals have made, especially now considering the most recent one with Carlos Estévez, how do you feel as a Royals fan going into 2025?
Good point. Because they're going to be good. They're going to be good.
That's the script. Hey, the beauty about baseball, man, it's very hard to script that sport. Like, even if you tried, it's hard.
Yeah. And they damn near tried last year with Ohtani.
Feel good about 2025. Nice for the Royals to be relevant again. Yeah, man. It's been a while.
I respect that.
Yeah, it's been about a decade.
You want to talk about suffering? Yeah. Before we go, we got some announcements to make. We got some housekeeping announcements to make. There will be a special live interview this Wednesday with one of our college buddies, Dayon Dunlap. If you're down for an interview. Dayon is compelling. This guy knows as much sports as anybody I know. This is going to be centered around baseball. But I know we're going to touch the Maverick situation. We're going to touch everything going on with him. His new podcast is out I think it's called I think I had to look for the name. But
we're gonna talk about it on Wednesday.
Yeah, but
Dayon, just to add on to what you said, Stefan, and we're gonna get into a lot more the day of. But Dayon is also a guy who could also provide some insight. When it comes to reporting. Dayon certainly has a background in reporting as well. He's done some mainstream stuff when it comes to the news. I know he's also done some work with ESPN for some years as well. So you guys, if you guys are looking forward to being able to speak to a guy like that, certainly make sure that you're here on Wednesday. And you guys will have, because we also, not only is Stefan going to have his questions, I'm going to have mine, but we also want you guys to ask him a thing or two, right? Like if there's anything that you want to know, if you find him to be someone who ends up being interesting at the end of the day, I think he already is, but I already know the guy, right? But yeah, make sure you guys are here for Wednesday. Also, I don't think we've said this yet. This is kind of obvious. No show on Super Bowl Sunday. Nope. We are in no way in hell getting in the way of the NFL. So NFL, y'all got it. Y'all won. We'll be here Wednesday. We're also trying to do something on Saturday if possible. You know what I want to say, actually?
What's up?
You know how I feel? You ever saw that Stone Cold Steve Austin meme where he looks down at his wrist and he's like sitting on top of the turnbuckle, like just waiting for time to go by? That's how I'm sure we all feel when it comes to Alex Bregman and Pete Alonso. Like, I'm over this already. I'm over it. Honestly. And we just heard Steve Cohen, I think about a week and a half ago
at FanFest.
He even said the fact that he said this is a problem. He said that bringing back Pete Alonso was harder than signing Juan Soto. That's a big no-no. That's a huge problem. Like, for that to be even a thing that came out of his mouth is on some what? 2017 to 2023 Royals were dark times. Yeah, man. Yeah, especially when you look back at the talent that they had.
Oh,
like it wasn't.
We got news here.
Baseball related?
Yes.
Okay, share. Wait, hold on.
Jack Flaherty back to the Tigers, 2 years, $35 million.
There we go. All right. Shout out to Sox Fan for Life. Also putting that in the comment section. Yo, Sox Fan for Life, welcome. Flaherty back to Tigers. I like that move for the Tigers.
25
he wasn't
million.
Bad for them.
No, he wasn't. $25 million for the first year and a player option for $10 million in the second year.
All right.
So that's how you get the 2 years, $35 million. That's a nice. That's it's not bad. Now, Detroit, you started it. Now let's finish it.
And we talked about the Tigers earlier tonight.
If you really want to put yourself in position to take the next step, go get Alex Bregman. Go get it.
Make it happen.
Go augment the offense, man, because the team is good. They already made the play. Listen, Carpenter was sensational for them. I like Trey Sweeney as shortstop. I like a lot of what they have. So if you can kind of augment this with more pieces and just see where it goes, man, Tigers can make some noise in the Central now.
Right.
If the Tigers were to go get another bat, I would reconsider the idea that the Royals are running away with the division. But the Tigers haven't shown me that they're willing to play at that level, right?
Right.
But Bregman knows AJ Hinch. They've built a relationship together, and it's an interesting conversation. Like, I wonder if the idea is like, yo, veteran presence, come into the clubhouse and let's do this, man. Interesting little
Look at this funny comment. I gotta show it, Shrek. Yo, you're on a roll, bro. He says LeBron to the Dodgers. Oh boy.
Hold on. Where's my
Sox
hold on.
fan for life. He says Jack Flaherty is def opting out.
Could be. We could see that. With his pitching as fickle as it is. Yeah. We got that off.
Yeah, we mentioned it. Yeah.
Let me see. I believe I read player option. Could be wrong on that though. Hold on 1 second. Player option the second year for $10 million.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
Shout out to you guys too for having a conversation, amongst each other in the chat, and also, Stefan for sharing that live. But you guys seem to also be on top of that stuff too.
Yeah. So the one thing that I'll be curious about is, I know he's not going to start the season. He might start the season on time, but I wonder if they're going to slow play his spring training and
Flaherty.
Yeah, his throwing program, because he signed really late. So you don't want another Blake Snell situation where the guy got to come in, hit the ground running.
Yeah, where you don't really start feeling like yourself until the second half of the season. That's funny. You see that comment there? Yeah, left to get a ring, then came back. Absolutely, that is true. Also, let me see if I could pull this up. Because I know we didn't mention all of them. Let me see if I could do that right now. One last friendly reminder, of course, make sure you guys are following us on Instagram at 27outs3C. And for those of you who are watching live via YouTube right now, make sure you hit that like, comment as always, and definitely subscribe. So, how do you guys feel about some of these other moves? I know we mentioned Carlos Estévez, Taylor Rogers, Hai-Sung Kim, Jorge Polanco, Max Scherzer is going to the Blue Jays. I know we spoke about the Blue Jays briefly tonight. That's another move that they had up their sleeve. Not really a big fan of that, but I mean, if you have the money, spend it while you can, right?
So we got more NBA news if you want more.
Is it big?
There was a trade for Jimmy Butler to go to Golden State, but he told the Warriors he is unwilling to sign an extension at this time, and the Warriors pulled the trade off the table.
Why?
This is
not the Warriors, but why Butler?
He was unwilling to sign an extension with the Warriors, so the Warriors pulled the deal off the table. They had a deal in principle for Jimmy Butler to go to Golden State.
Isn't Jimmy Butler like 35? Like, bro, your extension can't be anything crazy anyway. Ooh, TD. Bregman is not going to the Sox. I predict Bregman will go to Blue Jays. I'm not against that. I think the Blue Jays they might be the team that are willing to say, you know what? Screw it. Here's the years. Here's the money. All right, Norm. Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, you know what? I could see, it would not surprise me. You see how last season we saw what the Giants were looking to do. They had some money. Not a lot of guys were trying to go there. And then they just somehow ended up with Blake Snell. I could see that happening with the Blue Jays, where either Alex Bregman or Pete Alonso just will just end up there. Honestly, I could see that. Either or.
Hell no. To the no. Hell to the no. Hell to
That is funny. I mean, let's see how well those are gonna do, right?
All right, so I wanted to get into something the last 20 minutes. Thank you guys for rocking with the chat. Is jumping tonight, guys. We appreciate it. So I got a few radical ideas for the CB. I know me and Ivy, you spoke about this briefly a couple days ago, but I would like for there to be a trade deadline at the winter meetings where I can see it. I can see it. It will. So my idea is let's put a trade deadline at the winter meetings. And the reason why I want to do that is because I want there to be action amongst these free agents. Where if you stop trades from happening, what you can do now is you allow these free agents to come off the board faster because there's no alternatives. Now you have to sign the players that are on the market. So essentially what happens is from whenever the winter meetings ends, that last Wednesday, because usually it's Monday to Wednesday now, I would want it to freeze. Essentially what it means is, so the offseason would start. The World Series is normal, so you still have your month and a half to 2 months to do whatever you want to do. And then the last day of the winter meeting, once you file out of the hotel, I want to say 5 o'clock wherever you are, whether it's 5 o'clock West Coast time, 5 o'clock Central time. 5 o'clock is the designated time where everything stops. You can no longer make a trade from 5 o'clock on that date, whatever it is, whether it's December 12th, 13th. I'm just spitballing dates.
For the remainder of the offseason?
Until I want to say till we get to February 15th. February 15th is right around spring training. And what it does is it allows you to now work on signing free agents because the trades are no longer on the table for you, right? Like you can't just say, yo, this is a cheaper alternative, so let's just trade for player X. Now you have to pay player Y because the only way you're going to acquire talent is to spend money. And the other thing I'm going to tell you is instead of a salary cap, which the players will never go for, how about we do a salary floor where you have to spend more than $100 million 2 out of 3 seasons to be able to qualify to have your revenue sharing money. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to, if you don't spend $100 million 2 out of 3 years, you're no longer qualified to get your pool of the revenue sharing money, and it goes into an escrow pot, and you don't see it until you spend $100 million for 2 out of 3 seasons. Because you have to curtail this. Like you can't just have these owners pocketing this money. You think they like the idea that owners like Bob Nutting and owners that are not like the Pollard family in Minnesota, the Padre family now, that's another shit show. What's going on with the Seidlers and the wife and the brothers, that's but the idea that you are going to continue to pay revenue sharing when there's no real money being spent, there's some real questions there, right?
Yeah.
And like, so I think those two things in particular kind of upstart the market. Like,
well, I think I want to add one more thing here. And I'm only showing this comment because you hit the nail on the head, TD, by stating this. Steph, I want a signing deadline, bro.
I'm with
Stephen,
you.
That I just wanted to throw in. We did have a conversation just the other day, and that was also something that you did in fact mention in addition to the other two things as well.
What I would say is if you don't sign, so like I'm saying this, if you don't have a deal by the time spring training starts, you have to wait a year. Unless there's an injury at your position where you're put in a special pool where you're only allowed to sign based on if somebody's injured or not. So it's all injury based. So say, for example, I'm just using this for example, but let's say Pete Alonso doesn't sign by the start of spring training. Pete Alonso is ineligible to play in the big leagues in 2025 unless there's an injury to somebody at first base which puts him in position to sign, and he signs for the prorated minimum.
Wow.
You can only get anywhere from $5 to $10 million.
Yeah.
There has to be some level of like, you know what I'm saying? It can't just be, yo, we're going to drag it. We're going to drag it.
Yeah. There's no way an agent should have that much control of the offseason.
Hold on. This right here, bro.
Exactly. Yeah.
Hold on. Ivan, I swear. Remember one of the first shows we did? Guys, do us a favor. When this show ends tonight, we like to go back and watch the old stuff too. At least I do. We talked about how Scott Boras was ruining free agency. This was one of our first conversations we had on this very show. And we sat here and we said, yo, Scott Boras, because there's no workarounds anymore. Everybody got the same information you have. The analytics, the you know what I mean? The this, the that. You know what I'm saying? It all stops. Like, also this. Like, stop. Why is there a team in Tampa Bay?
Right.
How can we sit here and talk? Did you hear? So Manfred gives an there was an athletic he gave to in the Athletic where he talks about the expansion will happen between 2028 and 2029.
Isn't that when he's already like bound to be like
getting ready to retire? Yeah, you getting ready to retire, right? So that's the next guy's problem. We not serious. You don't know where the Rays are playing. You don't know what's happening with the Marlins. Nobody goes to those games. You got stadium issues out the wazoo. Nobody knows what's happening in Vegas. And then you got Barry Larkin, who's on a committee to try to bring baseball to Orlando. My question is very simple. Why? Why are we doing all this?
Yeah, I think if you were to ask me, I think Miami is the only place where a team should exist in Florida.
And even that. Because you got a bunch of New Yorkers, transplants from other states that are going down there. Like, we ain't rooting for the Marlins, bro. Half of us are Yankee fans. Half of us are freaking Met fans.
Right. Who you got on the back of that jersey? You want to see? Should I show it? I'm gonna show it. I'm gonna say it, but I'm also gonna show it too. So you might not be a big fan of this, but it is what it is. It's my jersey, right? But I'm gonna show you since you asked. Sorry about that.
Oh, that's his boy, Stroman. Yeah.
All right.
Stroman. Yeah.
Yeah. So listen, nowadays, is it something that I should be proud of when it comes to wearing Marcus Stroman stuff and all that? Not really. But I am a Marcus Stroman fan. So there you have it.
So it was the first show about the Boras holdouts. Interesting.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for that, Rick. I know it was certainly early in 2024.
Mm-hmm. Like at that point, there has to be a conversation about. Go ahead.
Sorry. No, I'm listening to you.
No, go ahead.
TD responded. He says, Stroman, damn. He says, Ivan, wow, where is he now, bro? I know. I know. Well, let me actually state this, TD. You got me. You caught me red-handed. I want to start right there. But now here's where you're going to have to cut me some slack. What if I told you I didn't buy this jersey and it was given to me as a gift? Which is a fact, by the way. So you can't be too hard on me.
The interrogation started. It's like interrogation.
I get it. Listen, I should have waited. You know,
oh man,
that would have made more sense. But it was a gift. So there's that.
It's I mean, there's so much to
they're gonna rip me tonight. What is Shrek? Shrek says Yankees fan in a Mets Stroman jersey. It's great. Yo, don't kill me, guys. I just told you guys why. But at the same time, I'm also able to laugh at what you guys are saying because it makes all the sense in the world. Like, I would be saying that to somebody else had it not been about Stroman. Right?
In the street.
I get it.
Jesus.
I get it, man. Listen, tonight's the night where you guys could call me out. Call me out on my BS. I'm here for it. What else we got here? Frank Lucas. Who's Frank Lucas?
Frank Lucas was a drug dealer from the 70s. And I think they killed him wearing a fur coat.
Next, No, I would not go that far. Absolutely not. I've said this on the show before. I'm a Big Papi fan. Like,
for sure.
Funny guy. likable guy. He did a lot of damage against my favorite team back in his days when he played for the Red Sox. But now, as a baseball fan, looking back at all of his I would say walk-off moments, all of his clutch moments, I should be saying rather. How could you hate a guy like that, right? Like, you gotta love Poppy.
So
Shrek says I'm gonna show up to the next live with the Max Scherzer Blue Jays jersey. Yo, this is funny.
We have some movement on the Pete Alonso front.
Oh, what happened? What's going on?
Pete Alonso is scheduled to fly down to Florida and meet with Steve Cohen in person as early as tomorrow.
All right, so I should be waking up to Pete Alonso and the Mets come to an agreement for X amount of dollars at X amount of years.
I mean, when you going down to meet with the owner, you going to this nigga's crib, that's on some.
It's pretty much a done deal, right?
Yeah, nah, that's yeah, that's crazy.
Yo, everything is crazy tonight, bro. Anybody wearing a Max Scherzer Blue Jays jersey, me wearing a Marcus Stroman Mets jersey, everything is crazy, man. This is true. I remember that moment, man. I remember that. Jason Varitek called him lovely.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I don't think. Listen, until I see pen to paper, because what has to happen is. Serious though, I will be buying shirts. Really, you really gonna buy his jersey for real?
I feel like he's lying, but if you are saying that, you got to be a Max fan.
So I will say this. Ivan makes it. I mean, Reza makes a good point here. What's up, bro? He makes a good point here with like the way these negotiations have dragged on. Like, who knows what it's gonna take? I really just want to get Scott Boras the hell up out of here and let them come to some sort of amicable agreement amongst themselves. Because you're gonna keep playing this game. I like jerseys of players on weird teams. Huh.
Okay, that's different.
That's interesting. Yeah, we broke it on the show.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
2 years, $35 million. That's not a bad deal for him, considering where we're at in this offseason. I feel like Pete Alonso has to have like a come to Jesus, like, yo, Steve, I really want to be here. What's it going to take? I know I'm not going to get the money that I really wanted. See, this is the risk you run with having Scott Boras as your agent, because you start to have conversations as to, is it even worth it or not?
See, I already have a problem with what's been going on between Pete Alonso, Scott Boras, and the Mets. But I'm going to have an even bigger issue if you just shared the news that you just shared with us here tonight, Stefan. And later this week, I hear they're going back to playing Ring Around the Rosie. If I hear that, why are you even flying to talk to this guy?
Right.
I don't want to hear anything. And I'm not even a Mets fan.
At this point, I'm just tired of talking about these two dudes. Like, it's like either you're gonna take a shit or get off the bowl. Like, your leg's about to go numb, my boy. You've been playing around too long.
Right, like give somebody else a turn.
You know what I mean? The bathroom ain't just for you.
David Robertson.
No, hasn't signed yet. Signed yet. No, I don't think so. Best guess, I think it's gonna be 3 years anyway. I think he's gonna get the same exact deal Cody Bellinger got, which is 3 years, $80 million. I think 3 years, $80 million kind of sounds about right. Because I don't see him getting to $100 million. I don't see Alonso getting to $100 million. If the Mets' last offer that we know of was 3 years at $70 million, then I've said this too.
Yeah, that's true.
I've said this too. But at this point, what other options does he have? There's no other. Are you really gonna go to Toronto? You gonna go play for the Angels?
Yeah, that's a good point. It's either you want to be a Met or you want to be a Blue Jay. There's no in between.
3 at 90 ain't happening now. If I had to guess, I'd say 3 at 75, maybe 3 at 80. But 3 at 90, nah.
3 at 90 means
30 million a year. Nah, that's not happening. Because if when Freddie Freeman signed, what he signed for 6 at 162?
His contract with the Dodgers.
Yeah, that's 6 and 160. There's no way Pete Alonso gets more than that. Because that's what, $23 million a year?
Let's see. Yeah, 6 at 162.
So what is that? About 23 a year? About?
Mhm.
There's no way Pete Alonso gets 30. No way. If he's lucky, he gets maybe about 20, maybe 19, 20. You ain't getting 30 now. 4 years at 100. What's 4 years? That's 20 million a year, right?
4 years? No, 25.
No, he's not getting 25. No. Oh, it's 27 million a year. Thank you, Razor.
Another thing too, and Stefan, you pretty much have he's not. Great Sox fan for life. And you not even at his best.
No.
He's not.
Freddie was on one leg out here being cyborg out here, just killing
right.
people.
Another thing that's gonna bother me too, along with what I had just said a few minutes ago.
Mm-hmm.
If this is something, and Stefan, you're basically saying that, yeah, it's going to be, especially at this point.
Right.
If this deal is for less than $100 million, and we heard all of this nonsense up until now, what are we even talking about? Why are we debating? We're not even talking about serious money.
Yeah. It's a good point.
Damn. Any Mets fans in the chat right now? I know we got a few of you guys here, but how do you guys feel?
I've said this.
Yeah.
I've said this
Oh,
loud.
by the way, speaking of Mets fans, already offered close to that number. Right. And it seems like they're pretty firm on where they're at right now.
He don't want it. He don't seem to want the money. So
I didn't tell you this, Stefan, but now that we're on the Mets, before we go, I was grabbing breakfast the other day, and I was wearing a Mets cap, and this random Mets fan, he was having breakfast. Oof. And while I was waiting for my food to finish, he tells me, he's like, hey, I'm looking forward to Pete Alonso returning to the Mets. And I was like, hey, listen, I still don't understand why he's not a Met. But, we spoke about some other things. Yeah. But just to really throw this out there yet again, which we've all known this, Mets fans want Pete Alonso to remain in the Mets jersey. And the organization just doesn't feel that same exact way. I'm sorry.
It's they drew a hard line in the sand. David Stearns did not draft this dude. David Stearns does not feel a emotional connection to this dude. David Stearns, this is a business for David Stearns. He does not feel the way the fans feel. He does not. And he's not going to change his outlook or his attitude just because fans want Pete Alonso back. I'm sorry. It's just not happening. As much as Met fans may want it to happen, the reality in which we live, I don't see it. I don't see it. It just the one thing that David Stearns just showed you is, I'm cold-blooded. This is straight business. I don't care if it hurts your feelings. I don't care. We're going to do what we're going to do for us, right? Like, notice they loved Jose Iglesias in the Mets clubhouse. What does he go do? He goes signs Nick Madrigal for half that money and says, yeah, it was nice. Oh, my God, your ass to Japan because we done.
Damn, bro. I mean, listen, they could have at least just brought him back for the vibes in the clubhouse, right?
Yeah, but what are we trying to build? A vibes championship, or a real one?
You're right.
You know what I'm saying? So his job is to look through all that and say, we got to cut through all the BS. We got to cut through all the, the fan emotional garbage. You know what I mean? And how I know that this guy's a good general manager and he's conveying his message well is because when Cohen and him came out on that fan fest, they were getting booed out of the building. By the end of it, the fans were like this. And you were like, you see how quick shit turns when you...
Before, I actually had seen a video that was a couple minutes long with David Stearns and Steve Cohen. Before they even answered any questions, fans were already chanting Pete Alonso and the fact that they want him to come back. And Steve Cohen told him straight up, he said, hey, listen, save that for later. There's going to be a time for us to get into that, but we don't want to start with that just yet.
And I like the fact that he shut it down. Like, enough. Enough of this debauchery and nonsense. Enough. Get it out my face. I ain't trying to hear this. Anyway, speaking of not trying to hear something, this show is all but over. I had a blast. We hope you did too. Ivan, any last thoughts before we get on out of here, man?
So shout out to everyone who rocked with us tonight. Really appreciate it. Show some love for those of you who are watching after the fact to this video, as well as some of the others that we already put out to start the year. Again, we're gonna be here on Wednesday. Special guest, special 27 outs live. So hope you guys are here for that. Have some questions ready. You guys are gonna be able to get to know more about him too.
Dayon Dunlap, live and in the flesh. We went to college with this brother. He's one of the smartest brothers I know when it comes to breaking stories and being down to earth. And he's
definitely gonna share some college stories. That's for sure.
We're gonna show some college stories. We're gonna talk to him about the Rangers, the Astros. I want to get his take on the Luka Doncic situation because he called me this morning. I called him this morning. This brother was sick. You know what I mean? So we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about it, some of our college stories as well. But just basically vibing with him, and we want you guys to get to know him as well. And then we'll share the link to his podcast, and so you guys know where to find them and things like that. But anyway, we had a blast, guys. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you guys Wednesday night. Same time, same bat channel. Peace.